Have you ever wondered why Jews and Arabs always seem to be at war? Why is this conflict so persistent, spanning generations without ever truly reaching a resolution? If you think it's all about religion, you might be surprised. The roots of this war run far deeper, involving territorial disputes, political agendas, and global interests that keep the fire burning. But this conflict isn't just about Israel and Palestine. It affects the entire world. From economic consequences to international relations, the tensions in the Middle East shape global politics in ways you might not even realize. But is there a solution? Can peace ever be achieved, or are we destined to see endless violence in this region? To understand where we are today, we need to look at how it all began. In this video, we're going to dive deep into the history of the conflict, break down the key events that shaped it, and uncover the hidden factors that keep it alive. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to learn might completely change the way you see the Middle East. For centuries, Jews and Arabs lived in the region we now call Israel and Palestine. Under the rule of the Ottoman Empire, different religious groups coexisted, though not always in perfect harmony. However, everything changed in the late 19th century with the rise of nationalism. On one side, the Jewish people, who had been scattered across the world for nearly 2,000 years, started developing the idea of Zionism, a movement that aimed to create a Jewish homeland. On the other side, Arab nationalism was also rising, with the goal of uniting Arabic-speaking people under independent nations. As Jewish immigration to Palestine increased, tensions grew between the Jewish settlers and the local Arab population. The situation escalated during World War I, when Britain made conflicting promises to both sides. In 1917, the British government issued the Balfour Declaration, stating their support for a Jewish homeland in Palestine. However, at the same time, Britain had secretly promised independence to the Arabs in exchange for their support against the Ottoman Empire. When the war ended, Britain took control of Palestine, and both Jews and Arabs felt betrayed. Jewish immigration surged, especially in the 1930s as Jews fled persecution in Europe. This led to violent clashes between Arabs and Jews, with riots and massacres on both sides. In response, Britain tried to limit Jewish immigration, but after the horrors of the Holocaust in World War II, global support for a Jewish state increased dramatically. In 1947, the United Nations proposed a plan to divide Palestine into two states, one for Jews and one for Arabs. The Jewish community accepted the plan, but the Arab nations rejected it, seeing it as unfair. In 1948, Israel declared its independence. Immediately, surrounding Arab countries launched an invasion, hoping to destroy the new Jewish state. But Israel, against all odds, not only survived, but expanded its territory beyond the original UN plan. For Palestinians, this event is known as the Nakba, or catastrophe, because hundreds of thousands of them were displaced from their homes, creating a refugee crisis that still exists today. Over the following decades, wars continued. In 1967, Israel launched a preemptive strike in what became known as the Six-Day War, gaining control of the West Bank, Gaza Strip, East Jerusalem, and the Sinai Peninsula. These territories remain at the heart of the conflict today, as Palestinians seek to establish an independent state in the areas occupied by Israel. Further wars, including the Yom Kippur War in 1973, only deepened the divisions. But this conflict isn't just about Israel and its Arab neighbors. It has been heavily influenced by global superpowers. During the Cold War, the United States supported Israel, while the Soviet Union backed Arab nations. Beyond politics, oil played a crucial role. Middle Eastern countries controlled vast oil reserves, making them key players in the global economy. Any instability in the region could trigger economic crises worldwide. As the years passed, new groups emerged, escalating the violence even further. Organizations like Hamas and Hezbollah carried out attacks against Israel, while Israel responded with military operations. Palestinian uprisings, known as the Intifadas, saw violent clashes, terrorist bombings, and harsh Israeli crackdowns. The world watched as civilians on both sides suffered, trapped in a seemingly endless cycle of revenge. Despite numerous peace efforts, including the Camp David Accords, the Oslo Accords, and other international negotiations, a lasting agreement has never been reached. Every attempt at peace has faced resistance from extremists on both sides. Some Israeli factions refuse to give up occupied land, while Palestinian militant groups reject Israel's right to exist. Leaders who pursued peace, like Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin, were even assassinated by their own people. Today, the UAT conflict continues. The rise of new political movements, regional instability, and foreign involvement keep the situation tense. But is there hope for peace? Some believe that younger generations, tired of war, may push for a solution. Others fear that without significant change, violence will persist indefinitely. So, after all this history, what do you think? Is peace possible, or is this conflict doomed to last forever? Let me know in the comments, and if you want to understand more about global conflicts, make sure to subscribe for more deep dives like this one. Thanks for watching.